Hi, my name's Helen Lane, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really useful database for anybody in AMC, and that is MediaRadar 360. Now, this database has gone by a lot of different names in the past 5 to 10 years. Your teacher might even be calling it Vivix. Your teacher might be calling it Ad Spender or Ad Insights. Whatever they're calling it, it does the same thing. And we do have it cross-listed just in case they're calling it by an older name. So don't worry, it's all the same, just a little few differences. So we're going to be taking a look at how to use it. And what is it used for? Well, it's used for looking at how companies are spending their advertising dollars and on what media. Like, are they using outdoor advertising, TV? Are they doing a lot of radio? And you can compare companies, and you can even look at a particular company and what it's doing for different brands or products within its company. So it's got a lot of usefulness in terms of, investigating your competition or analyzing what you've been doing with your own brands. So let's take a look. It's one of our databases, and there's two ways to get to those. You can go to the green menu here and go to Databases. Or you can, if you know exactly what you're looking for, come down to OneSearch, click on Databases, and type it in. Here's MediaRadar, and there's the listing. So with any database where you see an exclamation mark, that means that there's important information for you to read more about. So I'm going to do that by clicking on the plus sign. And in this case, it's telling you that we are limited to 10 users at a time. And I'm going to add one more fact, and that is we're limited to 10 users, and you have no choice as to which user you will be logged in as. And this will become important later on when it comes to saving your work. And I will give you step-by-step instructions to help you so that you can always access your work no matter how you're logged in. So let's go in. So the first step is you will probably hit a login screen like this, where you're going to log in with your FIT username and password. Username and password. I speak so quickly, so sometimes. And I'm being logged in as FIT user 2. And I'm going to close this little thing. This takes us to a dashboard where it's just showing us trends, industry trends in advertising. But what you are probably going to be using it for is creating reports either that compare competitors or which take a deep dive looking at particular campaigns. And the way you do that is from over here on the left-hand menu, there's a button that says Explore, which is not really intuitive because Explore is where you create. There must be some way to remember that. Explore is create things, something. Okay. So when you click on Explore, you can indeed explore other people's reports, but you can also create a report. So I'm going to click on Create Report, and what opens up is a report creator with all of the things that I would need to put together a nice, neat table of information. And we're going to go through that step by step. Now, the first thing I usually do is I give the report a name, and the name really should probably have to do with what it is I'm researching. So let's say I'm interested in looking at energy drinks, energy sport drinks. So I give that a name. And the next step has to do with the fact that I'm logged in as user 2, and next time I log in, I may be logged in as user 10 or user 1, and that's this sharing option. In sharing, I'm going to change this from a private report to one where I'm sharing with all users and one where all users can edit. Now you might think to yourself, I don't want every user in the world to be able to edit my report. But remember, we're just talking about the 10 FIT users, and unless there's some really evil students out there, they're probably not going to mess with your report. You're just opening this up so that you can edit your own report the next time you log in. There is this other option of sharing with individual users, but remember the users, once again, are just users 1 through 10, not particular students within your class. Okay, so share with all users and let them all edit is really the best way to go. So once that's done, we are going to compose our table, which is going to be comprised of columns and rows. So I always start with time periods, and so the second from the right, and you have static and dynamic. Most of the time you're going to be choosing static, and most of the time you're going to be looking at an entire time period. So let's say a particular year. 2025 is not over yet, so let's choose a whole year that has completed. So we're going to choose 2024, and then don't forget this bit, we're going to add it over here. If we wanted to compare 2024 to 2023, we could just click on that and once again add it. And we want to get rid of something, the little trash can gets rid of it. The next thing we want to do is find those energy sports drinks. And I'm going to go over here where I look for my brands and categories. Right now it's set up to search for things by brand. There's also a category search. It's good to go in with a known brand because you don't always know how they've categorized things or what language they're using around a category. I'm calling it energy sport drinks, but they may be calling it caffeinated beverages. So I'm going to go in with this drink, and it's spelled with a S, Celsius, and I find it under brand, and I find a lot of different brands, okay? And I can also look at it as a product, run the same search, and it should fill this out a little bit more. Right, so now I have brand and then particular products. So we could get really, really granular here. Okay, I'm just going to grab it at the brand level, I think, instead of the product level. That's okay. And that thing about not knowing how they've categorized Celsius, I'm going to figure that out by doing a neat little trick called drill to. I'm going to drill to the category, and I can see that they have this category called energy beverages. And for some reason, I can't say the word energy today. Oh, I just did. And then if I click on this and then, oh, they have isotonic too. So they're, we could choose both of those if we wanted to. If I choose one of these and then click again on drill to, and then click on brand this time, I will now find all of the brands that are put into that category. And I now can do a comparison with other brands that I see as top competitors to Celsius. So we can do that right here. I don't think Boost though. I'm going to do C4, grab Celsius just to make sure it's really in there. Coca-Cola Energy, never heard of it, but let's just put it in there. There must be a Gatorade Fast Twitch. Okay, you get the idea. So then once we have our list, we're going to make sure we add them, and then we can close this, and these are going to be the brands that we're comparing. Are we ready? Now we're going to choose our media markets. We can do, or across a media mix comparison, we choose all media, all markets, and we're done. And now we can talk about the layout. So the reason I move mainly from the right to the left is that I can't even start thinking about the layout until I've made my selections. So do we want information about the parent company? Yes, probably. Do we want information on the brand level? Yes. Do we want our information to be in dollars? I think so, because units don't really make that much sense to me. We are only choosing one time period, so we don't need separate columns for time, but we might want separate columns for the different types of media. So I'm going to change this one. And then I might want to see totals. So include subtotals, brand total at the top or bottom. Okay, let's see, include subtotals for single reports. No, let's just do grand total at the bottom. Measures in dollars. I think we're good. And I think now we're basically ready to print this out. If we go to summary, it's just going to show us what we put everywhere. Okay? And I think we're ready to run it. Hit run, and it says it's been submitted, and we just need to wait for the report to be created. I can click on report results for status and wait for it to emerge. And it might take a little bit of time, believe it or not. Okay, so then eventually you're going to have a report that is finished. And it's going to say complete, completed, and you should be able to look at it in various forms. So we can look at it as a PDF, download it as CSV or Excel. So I'm going to look at it as a PDF, and this is really, it's looking just like I want it to. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So Celsius Corporation and Celsius, right? We actually have that twice. Coca-Cola and the Coca-Cola energy drink. Gatorade, C4, and how much they're spending total, network, cable, spot, display, radio, local radio, and outdoor, and so forth. So we have this nice list with the total up front. Some of you teachers might want the total at the end. That's fine. That all is done in the summary, and you can always go back and you can change your report by going to specs. You can go to your specs list and you can open up your report and you can change the layout, right? You can say, okay, yeah, my teacher actually wanted the total to be elsewhere, and you can change where it appears. Okay, we can say we can get rid of the brand. We can show the grand total at the top. We can group it differently, put the grand total column at the end instead of at the beginning, etc., and run it again, and we'll have a whole new report that's formatted slightly differently. Okay, that's about it in a nutshell. Good luck, have fun, and come to the library if you run into trouble.